the season as a whole so far for Philly has been, well, what has it been like for a super Philly fan like you? Is it, from the outside looking in, it must be quite frustrating, but then I guess there's got to be a certain pragmatism that injuries, in particular in the receiving corps, and you mentioned Carson Wentz earlier on and talking about quarterbacks and risking injury. Has he been the same since he's come back from his injury, do you think?
I think physically he's been the same. I think he's very conscious of, why he got injured and how he got injured. And, and then coming back in and playing with an ACL and whatever, So he's gone through that natural transition of saying, I'm a lot more valuable to this. I should slide and whatever. I also think, there's a whole movement. They call it the LTTB community, the Let the Bronco Buck community, right? Which Ike Reese, who's a local broadcaster in Philadelphia, former Eagle special team players and linebacker, and he's kind of started this as like there's an argument like a lot of times it feels like he has the handbrake on, and which is fine when everybody's fit, right? If Deshaun Jackson's there spreading it, and if Jeffrey's not being a baby, and Aguilar especially isn't dropping the ball, then that's all right, Then just stay in the pocket, be smart, do the Brady thing, fall over, whatever. But we're not there, and so it's one of those situations where he needs to take more of it onto himself, because last week we're all like, oh look, Greg Ward's actually pretty good, and we never noticed, and all that time that we played the Eagles have this ridiculous guy named Mac Hollins, and this happens in every sport. There's these guys who are okay, I don't say he's terrible because he's not, but there's these guys that coaches like because they do what they're supposed to do. So Mac Hollins runs really good routes.
You be careful what you say about Mac Hollins, incidentally, because when he came over for a promo trip to London, he took time to do the floss with my kids. And so he's a good guy in my book. I won't have a word said against him.
He taught your kids how to floss.
He not the
so he's really good. Flossing. He's got really good teeth. Is that what you're saying?
Not the dental ton of flossing. You know the floss. Yeah, we can get you to floss it a bit.
I'm sure he's a great guy.
Yeah, but
this guy never catches a pass because he never throw to him, presumably because he never gets open and he never gets on the field. And then you got a guy like Greg Ward, right? And so again, that's another thing who comes in and plays really, really well. So it's not a knock on Mac Hollins, well done. But when you're kind of taking up space and then all of a sudden you move and the other dude makes a difference. So we've had injuries there. Obviously Howard's injury has been a big one because I always feel like Miles Sanders is about to get injured. He never does, knock on wood. And I know he's well rested all those years backing up Saquon at Penn State.
Sure.
And
that rest is a really good point. I mean, not just long term, and I know you're being facetious, but even going into this season, this stage of the season, I should say, you've got a relatively fresh running back core, and you're going to have to lean on them pretty heavily, right? It's going to be a combination. If you're going to get it done, certainly against Dallas, it's going to be the ground game, and it's going to be the tight ends, because really, he hasn't got anywhere else to go.
Well, I'm sure everybody's heard the story by now, but in not the last game, the game before, but McCown, the 47-year-old backup quarterback, put on his helmet and he was going to go out there as a wide receiver and run routes. Now, he's got the mobility of a building and he's 100 million years old. And this we had no receivers left.
Yeah.
And you're going to go and send this dude out there because, he's smart and he knows how to run I guess he can catch a ball. So presumably you have to kind of
he's a body.
He's a body, right? He knows how to run a route, and if he's just standing there and the other team has to send somebody in the general vicinity, right? That is how disastrous the situation was with the wide receivers. I think what's really hurt us is, this year the secondary's been better. And I think that's helped our defensive line. But I think we have to talk about the fact that, we have, in my opinion, one of the three greatest defensive players in the league in Fletcher Cox. And he's been decidedly mediocre this year. And a lot of it, we were so excited because, we'd signed Malik Jackson. Of course, then dude gets hurt. And we thought, oh my God, we've got these two monsters in the middle. They won't be able to triple team Fletcher, but now they're triple teaming him and he's not getting it done. I think that's really hurt us as well.
Hope you enjoyed the Nat Coombs Show presented by Paddy Power Fantasy. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click subscribe to ESPN UK and you won't miss a trick.